So I've been getting a lot of questions on the outdoor wood boiler. Things like how often I have to put wood in, how much wood I put in, how often I have to clean out the ashes. And cleaning out the ashes is something that I actually have not done since I started it. And that was back on September 23rd. Just been busy, been doing some traveling. So today I'm gonna clean out the ashes. I'm gonna show you how that's done. I'm gonna answer some of those questions, and I'm also gonna give you a look at how this works as far as delivering heat into the house and heating the hot water. But first, we're gonna clean out the ashes. I'll show you what I do here. I found it best to wear something like this to prevent inhaling all the ash that when you're cleaning it out kind of gets into the air. So what I like to do is I wait until the blower kicks on, and then I let it run for a while to kind of get the coal bed burning. And then that way, as I take out the ashes, I can leave some of those coals in there to then reignite the new wood that I put back in and get the fire going again. So I never let the fire really go completely out to clean out the ashes. I just wait till the blower's on, and I'll show you in a bit what it looks like inside there. I just have a garbage can that I'm going to be putting the ashes in. Like I said, I wear a dust mask. And the other thing I like to do is I like to open up both ends of the shed here, both doors, so that if there is a little breeze blowing through, it kind of helps clear out any ash that kind of gets into the air when I scoop it out. All right, so if we take a look inside what we have right now, you can see there's a nice bed of coals burning. So then what I do is I kind of push the coals to one side, and I'll dig out all the ash from the other side. Then I'll move the coals to that side where it's cleared out, and then take as much ash as I can from the other side. So you can see if you look in level with the front of the door, the ashes in the coal bed is kind of high, but like I said, it's been a while. I've been gone, and so this is over 3 weeks. 3 weeks of burning. So everything is cleared out on this side. So now I'm going to knock some of those coals over, and then I'll take the ash out of that side. All right, so now I'm just gonna rake all those coals kind of to the front and kind of in the center. And that leaves me a nice bed of coals to now add some more wood onto. So now the garbage can full of ashes, I just take and I set outside, and then I put the lid on, and I just let that burn itself out and suffocate, and all the coals and embers, everything should go out. And then in a few days, I'll let this sit maybe 2-3 days, and then I will take it back and dump it back in the wood yard. All right, so if you remember how this was all kind of full of wood, so you can kind of see how much wood we've used up. But as far as how much wood I put in, I usually add wood twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. late afternoon. Because I'm cleaning the ashes out now, I'm going to put enough in to get me through the night. And it just kind of depends on what the temperatures are like outside. But I'll probably add, I don't know, what do I got here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 to 12 pieces. Again, it just depends on what the temperatures are like outside, what the overnight lows are going to be. And I don't fill the firebox up front to back. I just make a row kind of across the center, and that's usually all I put in. That's about how much wood I'll put in now, and that'll probably get me through the overnight, and then I'll fill it up tomorrow morning. So now if the temperatures were colder, or if this was like the middle of winter, I might end up putting in a little bit more wood than I did right there. But generally that's what I do, is I just build a row across kind of the center of the firebox, and I just fill it up 10, 12 pieces at a time, and that gets me through, like I said, usually only having to add wood twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. So if it's like sub-zero temperatures, like below 0 Fahrenheit, I may end up having to come out like mid-afternoon and throw a few pieces on, but generally I add wood in the morning and in the evening, twice a day. So now we've reached our temperature of 170, the blower has shut off, and so now the water is heated up and it's continuously circulating through the house, and I'll show you now how that all works. So down there is a tube that goes down in the ground 4.5, 5 feet underground, and it runs right over there and goes into the house. So I'll go inside and I'll show you where that comes in. It comes back up and then goes in. But there is a tube underground that there's 2 lines circulating back and forth. There's the line going in, the hot going into the house, and then the cold return coming back out. So we are now inside the house, and there are the 2 lines coming in from out in the woodshed, from the outdoor wood boiler. So the red line is the hot water coming in, and the blue line is the cool water returning to the boiler. So if we follow the red line over here, the first stop it makes is right here on the heat exchanger for the water heater. So what it does is it preheats the water before it goes into the tank here for the water heater. So you can see that the water comes in right here. So inside this exchanger, it is preheating. It's not mixing, it's just preheating the water before it goes into the tank, and then once it comes in and goes through the heat exchanger, it goes back out and heads over to the forced air furnace. The red line comes over from the heat exchanger for the water heater, and here is the heat exchanger for the forced air furnace. So what happens is there's a separate thermostat upstairs that only controls the fan for this furnace. So when that thermostat drops, the temperature drops in the house and it kicks on, what happens is air is forced across this heat exchanger, and that air then takes the heat from the exchanger and delivers it up into the house. So this is, right now the furnace is not on, but the water is continuously circulating. So there's always going to be hot water in this exchanger. It's just going to keep circulating until that thermostat upstairs calls for heat. At that point, the blower in the furnace here will kick on and it'll force air across this heat exchanger, and then that air will take the heat and deliver it up into the house. When that happens, that's when the heat is pulled off of the water, and then that cool water gets returned back to the boiler where it will heat up once again and come back in, and like I said, just continue the cycle. So this is where sometimes it can be confusing, because people will think that the thermostat on the boiler, those 2 different temperatures, the 160 and the 170, they think that that is controlled by a thermostat in the house here, and they're separate. So the boiler's job is to, when the water temperature drops to 160, turn on the blower in the boiler, heat the water back up to 170, and during that time, continuously cycle water into the house. So the one thing I forgot to mention earlier with the amount of ash and with the amount of wood that I put in the boiler is it depends on what type of wood it is. Right now I'm burning a lot of oak, and seasoned oak doesn't usually leave a lot of ash, and you don't really need a lot of it because it burns nice and hot, has a lot of BTUs. If I was burning a different type of wood, like a softwood maybe, some woods like cottonwood for example, it leaves a lot of ash. It produces a lot of ash when you burn it, and it doesn't have very much heat or BTU value to it. So if I'm burning it in the dead of winter, I probably would need more wood in the boiler. But because I'm burning oak, I didn't need to put that much in for now. And because I'm burning oak, over the last 2.5, 3+ weeks, there hasn't been a lot of ash buildup. So hopefully that helps answer some of those questions, and hopefully the little walkthrough of how this system works with the thermostats in the house being different than the thermostat here controlling the temperature of the water, the continuous cycling of the water, and then the heat just gets pulled off the water as needed. But the boiler's job is to keep that water always going into the house between 160 and 170. So I think that'll do it for now. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments. I'll try to answer them. If not, I might have to come back and do another video. There might be something I forgot to mention in this video. Who knows? But thanks for watching. See you next time. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool.